When an 8-minute role can have such a lasting impact on viewers that it compels creators to brainstorm and think of a spin off solo film for a character, you know there is something special. Saswata Chatterji as Bob Biswas in the 2012 film Kahani was a character that was mysterious, intimidating, and had all the ingredients to be a perfect anti hero leading a movie. A contract killer posing as a life insurance agent, receiving his next target on a phone and greeting them with his iconic lines, Namaskar, ek minute. The character was regarded as so unique that we all wished for a solo movie. When it was announced that Abhishek Bachchan will portray the iconic character, it came with its skepticism, but there was some form of faith that was reinstated when we saw the trailer. Also, owing to stories that Saswata Chatterji never wanted to portray the fictional role again, and that the world created was intentionally made different from the Kahani universe, you can still give the creators a pass for this new route that they have taken. Directed by Sujoy Ghosh's daughter, Diya Anuparna Ghosh, the film focuses on the origin story of Bob Biswas. Set in Kolkata, Bob, played by Abhishek Bachchan, finds himself as having just recovered from an 8-year coma. With little recollection of his life before the unfortunate accident, the individual is greeted by a wife and 2 kids and has to assume that this is his life. How slowly and steadily he connects the dots to understand his real purpose, unearthing in the process his real character, and a seedy business that is causing mayhem on the streets of Kolkata more or less forms the storyline of Bob Biswas. I'm mostly leaving the storyline as vague as possible over here because the story is literally about Bob figuring out each and every detail in his life, just like us as viewers. Getting right into it, here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it on ZEE5 or not. The underwhelming aspects, minor details. There are a few issues with this film's screenplay that I wanted to address. These are not points that absolutely weigh down the film in any way, but some things that I felt could have just worked better for the film's narrative. What I felt about the movie and the concluding moments with the antagonist that Bob has to deal with is what I exactly felt when I saw No Time to Die, specifically the character played by Rami Malek. What is common between both the characters is that the act that they are committing is far more horrifying than the character themselves. In the world of Bob Biswas, the seedy business that is impacting young lives in Kolkata is far more grave than the individual himself. I felt that the character could have been granted more screen time or specific character traits that could have made the face-off even more delicious. Similarly, in regards to the action, while through most of the running time of the film, it keeps a slick, pulpy noir dark humor intact, it is in the final battle that the choreography gets a tad bit messy and convenient. I felt that from a sheer staging point of view, they could have really executed it in a better manner. Nitpicking a tad bit more, there is a scene where Abhishek is found helplessly in tears, and I could not get over the CGI tears utilized in order to make us understand that Abhishek is really trying to be emotional. Let me also know in the comments below what worked and did not work for you regarding this film. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. The good. Distinct and unique music. I absolutely love the theme and vibe of this film. It's essentially a dark comedy thriller and it is enhanced by a very self-aware music album that is unique and different from what Bollywood albums represent. If you remember the unique music album of No Smoking that had numbers like Jab Bhi Cigarette and Fook De, the music was reflective of not only the atmosphere of the film but the journey of the character. It was not only poetic with its lyrics but hilariously self-aware also on its pulp noir nature. With songs such as Mujhse Mujhse Kaun Bachayega and my favorite that plays throughout the film, Tu To Gaya Re, sung by Bianca Gomez, I genuinely love how different the music of this film was compared to the generic tropes we are used to in films. Old city and rustic visual appeal. The cinematography of this film beautifully captures the metropolitan yet old city charm of Kolkata. Where most of the frames of this film are bleak, intentionally devoid of color, there is this beautiful charm to Kolkata that comes out through the visuals of Garrick Sarkar. The old dilapidated buildings, the worn out switchboards, the distinct colors of the streets and buildings, it honestly came across as if I was flipping through a comic book based in Kolkata, which is actually about the life of Bob Biswas. A great idea that I will flesh out later, but the visual appeal of Kolkata and the unique characters that are in this world have all the ingredients to be a great graphic novel or comic book series that I will pay serious money for. Hilarious missions. I loved how this film did not take itself too seriously. The dark humor of this film stays intact no matter how out of hand things go in Bob's life. And this is precisely what I wanted from the film. There are many times in Hindi cinema where anything that involves gore and violence usually transitions to become dramatic and preachy. Bob Biswas follows the thin line, not deviating on either side. And this is especially reflective when the executions are being done by Bob. The hilarious nature with which the character finds his next target, being an out-of-shape life insurance agent of course, it makes for some extremely funny sequences, especially the chase as two targets are going up the lift and the poor man has to take the stairs. There are several moments such as this which will surprise you and guarantee a guilt-free but hilarious ride of gore and violence. The unique characteristics of the world. The reason why I'm excited on the potential of a world like Bob Biswas extending to become a graphic novel or a comic book series, it is because of the unique characteristics that have been etched out by Sujoy Ghosh that actually remind me of the eccentric characters from the world of Satyajit Ray, especially the stories that involve Faluda and Professor Shonku. Bob Biswas and his characters seem to be like characters from these worlds. You have a reality TV star as a neighbor who loves to annoy people through his loud singing. You have an old pharmacy and the owner who has morals that nothing goes in and out of his establishment in the form of information. You have a chow mein stall owner that Bob frequents, a Bruce Lee fan who is extremely adept and has a dark history that slowly gets unearthed. The dingy karaoke bars, the old rustic feel of the city like Kolkata. Such unique characters. It has all the elements that make sense why Bengali writers are considered so skilled as storytellers. The performances. I think it is an uphill battle for Abhishek to even come close to the demonic presence of Saswata Chatterji. And he has been consistently unlucky with his roles being compared to actors who have reprised the role previously, be it Pratik Gandhi with Scam, Madhavan with Breathe, and now this with Saswata. The man always gets the short end of the stick, but I genuinely think he did a great job with this role. What's lovely about the screenplay of this film is that we are on the journey with Bob trying to connect the dots with him, trying to understand whether his surroundings and the people around him are an illusion or in fact the reality that he lived and cannot recall. Abhishek dons the role of an out-of-shape contract killer with quite ease. I understand that Saswata cannot be replaced, but I genuinely felt he gave it all for this role. It was great to see Purab Kohli and Chitrangada Singh in fictional roles. They are such confident and capable performers that we honestly don't get to see often. Paran Bandyopadhyay as the pharmacy owner has to be my favorite characters from this world. His mysterious origin story is something that can be fleshed out and would be another goldmine in its entirety. The reason why I think about the potential of Bob Biswas is because I can create parallels with him and Dexter and even Joe Goldberg from You. Their world is so delicious and their characters are so distinct that you can actually think of their worlds extending into several seasons. People will be harsh regarding this film as it never makes the stakes too high to become a demonic origin story, something probably that a character like Bob deserves. But I think what it does is set a foundation for a character and a unique world that has the potential to extend and flesh out through other avenues, something that has not really been tried with Hindi cinema characters. A comic series titled Bob Biswas the Contract Killer Volume 1 is something that I would pay good money for. The possibilities are endless. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.